All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications. Thank you for being here. Help me like, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications. My name's Ola, coming to you live from my Empire Pro Studios. I'm on the road, so I'm not exactly live, but this is a session that I want to take advantage of this trending news around Akpabio versus Akpoti. Um, obviously to catch up, get some updates, but also to use this opportunity to educate ourselves on what sexual harassment entails in our society. I do notice that there's a lot of ignorance out there. Ignorance is not a crime, but it can be absolutely destructive to our society and to your own daughters, to your own children, to your own sisters, aunties. But newsflash to men too, yes. Go and ask Terry Crews, the actor, American actor Terry Crews, right? I think Terry Crews or Terry Crews. I'm not sure, but it can happen to anyone. So, essentially, what it means is unwanted sexual advances. It's not just physical or verbal; it can be psychological. Um, it can be psychological. In other words, sometimes the victim will be the one to define what entails sexual harassment for you. Okay, um, it's an allegation. It's not an indictment, at least not yet, right? And it's not a judgment. But when there's an allegation of that magnitude, you have to take it seriously. Wait until it is your daughter before you take it seriously. And that's going to be the crux of everything we're talking about today. But there's been some interesting events since we covered this. So I want us to bring us up to speed, you know. Definitely wanted to bring us up to speed. Probably the most recent headline that I'm looking at here. I picked this up about 2 minutes ago. This actually went live about 2 minutes ago. From this day publication, you can see a headline that says Akpabio restates regard for women, strongly denies sexually harassing Senator Natasha. But I had a personal encounter today with a person who was actually exchanging some words with me in a WhatsApp group. So I thought it would be an opportunity to also highlight this. But before we get into that, why are we talking about Natasha Akpoti? Natasha Akpoti is a Nigerian senator representing Kogi Central, and Akpabio is the Senate President of Nigeria. He's a retired governor. All the governors have a tendency to retire into the Senate seats in Nigeria. A tendency. So that's part of the problems with that environment. So, but I thought I should definitely bring some lessons here today to catch up on this, and then obviously based on this discussion, but also let's catch some cruise. Laugh but learn. Laugh but learn. Okay. So let me see. Where is this thing? Here we go. Okay. All right. So the first thing you want to know is that, of course, Akpabio has denied today. Also, they've thrown out the petition. She filed a petition with the Senate against the Senate president. You already know what that was going to be, but at least she's making a statement. It's not just about her winning or they're visiting it. Most people already know they're not going to give it the proper. They're not going to give it the proper treatment. They're not going to give the petition proper treatment. We already know that. But at least she's making a statement, and they're making a fool out of themselves, if anything. So, and I think she understands that. She's also filed a lawsuit. I think that was the first thing she filed. She filed a lawsuit for defamation, and in true Nigerian Senate fashion, they mixed the two together. So she had to clarify while she was on the Senate speaking stand that the lawsuit, because at first they were like, there's a lawsuit, so we cannot talk about this. And she was like, no, the lawsuit is about the defamation against her character with regards to how she dresses, insinuating that she dresses inappropriately to the Senate. You know, I've paid attention to Senator Natasha Akpoti for a couple of years since Adiola Fayon, who used to be with Sahara Reporters, since she's been covering her. So I've actually paid attention to her for a few years before she even became I think she ran for governor at one point, and then she eventually was able to represent her people at the Senate, Nigerian Senate, at the House of Assembly, National House of Assembly, right? So there's a lot of interesting things going on, but I'm just trying to bring you up to speed. So I paid attention to her. This is not somebody who is just reckless, who's just moving around reckless. Now, Nigeria will make anybody look reckless and stupid if you allow it, or if you have enough attention, you can look, So anyway, the headlines that I'm looking at, this one says Akpabio restates regard for women. I'm going to play some videos for you. Strongly denies sexually harassing Senator Natasha. Then Punch News headline here says Akpabio finally stops hiding behind women. On Wednesday, Senate President God's will, Akpabio finally defended himself since Kogi Central Senator Natasha Akpoti accused him of sexual harassment. We've covered that. If you want to see that detail, go watch the previous submission on this topic on this channel. I think it's probably last show, maybe not last show. The show just before the Trump one, right? So go watch that. But essentially, Natasha has accused the Senate President of multiple sexual advances, unwanted sexual advances, in spite of the fact that he's friends with her husband. Now she's making this known now because in recent times she's felt that her mission at the Senate National House of Assembly undermined because maybe this guy is just butthurt because she will not give up the kwekus. Anyway, so Natasha Akpabio, this according to Leadership News, the headline says Natasha Akpabio saga snowballs into protest. I'm going to play some of that videos for you. Then sexual harassment, according to Punch News, Senate dismisses Natasha petition. They actually call it dead on arrival. So they claim that it was only her that signed the petition. It can't be, okay, but they can easily correct that. Find somebody else to sign the petition. It doesn't mean that they are agreeing to it. The question is that, are they spiteful like that? Are they vindictive like that? Including the ladies. Are they vindictive enough to not want to sign her petition? You betcha. Of course, because they feel like their own pocket is being tampered with by Natasha. Speaking of another Senate lady who actually decided, I don't think I played this one or the last one. This is a lady who actually has carries a name around the legacy of Dele Giwa, who was I don't know how I would describe Dele Giwa. If you don't know Dele Giwa, you're probably a Gen Z person, which is fine. I'm not shaming you, I promise you. Dele Giwa was a guy who died back in 1986. That's a while back. I remember that. The fact that I remember that, oh my God. So Dele Giwa was a Nigerian journalist, editor, and founder of Newswatch magazine, which is a very popular magazine when we were growing up. He was murdered when he opened the package with a bomb at his Ikeja, Lagos residence on October 19, 1986. Okay, so a lot of people assign the credit to that to Babangida, allegedly, but that's what that was. But so Auntie Tagiwa had some interesting things to say. I'm going to play this right now and then we'll talk more.
You said something just now that I was taken aback, ma. You said you feel disappointed that Natasha came out to air a point. So is it that when a woman is sexually harassed, as she claims, she should keep quiet? Misogyny should continue?
No, I don't.
That women should not speak up?
No,
no. Because she has won election,
no. You have passed that. By the time you contest election and get to Senate, you understand? Yeah. You have passed that. You have passed that stage of your life of being sexually harassed.
Wow. Really?
So yes, by the time if you go there and stand, you have passed that. You go there, so you are all equal in that Senate.
So, really? So if somebody
you are all equal
as
in
president
of order. And again, it shows weakness. You don't allow it.
So is it a show of weakness for a woman to speak out?
It cannot happen in the Senate.
Really?
I'm not saying that the lady is lying. I'm not done. But again, my dear, when you get to Senate, you are there as a person. You are not there as a man or woman. You are there as a person. It doesn't matter what you are carrying between.
But she's
whatever.
complaining
You
that there's
understand?
no
You are
equality.
there. And then mind
That's
you,
what she's complaining about.
I don't think at the stage of, I respect that girl. I like her. She's very intelligent, very very well spoken. You understand? But I do not think that the person you call sir, because first of all, if you call somebody sir, then you are giving the person a cane to whip you.
All right. So let me know your thoughts about that video. That's an interesting video, but it also tells me Nigerian elderly they have an interesting state of mind, if you will. All right. But let's listen to this other person. I think this guy is called the Chief Whip. Is it a chief whip? Actor Emeka React. Oh, this is an actor? Oh, no. It's not an actor. It's a Senator Nwebonyi. Senator Nwebonyi questioning. Senator Nwebonyi questioning Senator Natasha's character. Let's just listen it. I'll paste that on the screen for you.
The fourth time, just give me some time. This is not the first time this woman is doing this. This is a woman that have accused Yaya Bello of sexual harassment. This is the same woman that have accused the. I'm coming. Allow me to corroborate or probably disprove. Allow me to flow. Okay. This is the same woman that accused Reno Mokri, the former media aide to Jonathan, of sexual harassment. This is a woman I saw in a video yesterday accusing a minister of sexual harassment. Are you the only woman in Nigeria, Senator Natasha? What is wrong with you?
Oh, your mic.
But wow.
Okay, 1 second.
This is madness.
Just because
Nigerian women should rise against it. Let me tell you something.
Yes.
Senator Natasha is spoiling game for Nigerian women trying to enter politics because nobody will vote for a woman. No, I'm telling you, if women can behave this way, then that is danger.
Well, that's a generalization. That's a generalization.
And I have my points.
Senator Wemboy, that's
I have my point. They always say that.
You accuse it. You want to sexually harass me. Who are you?
All right.
A mother of 6.
She's a
mother of 6 from different men. Without going to her character, this is a mother of 6 from different men.
All right,
I don't think that her character is not questionable.
All right, Mr.
Sexual allegations don't have anything to do with the marriage status or the number of children she has.
I'm telling you, it's
Let me
business.
ask you the next question.
I'm going to her character. She has to change.
But this is misogyny here.
Yeah, I'm telling you the truth.
Can we ask you the next question?
Go ahead, I'm here for you. And this.
All right. So some Emeka says if they don't slut shame her, you should know they haven't started. Okay. All right. So interesting. This one too is one of you people, Senator. So these are the leaders of Nigerian as a society. These are the people that are voted into office. You might say, but this is not a big deal. But no, this is their mindset. This is how they govern your nation. These are telltale signs. These are the reasons why Nigeria is struggling to get off from that ground. Right there in your face, I promise you. These are the reasons right there in your face. So just in case you're wondering, that was the connection. If you are still asking the connection, just look at the state of affairs, right? I think that should answer the question for you. So now you notice that he made some accusation. Before I go into playing the video of Senator Natasha Akpoti Idora presenting her petition against Senate President Godswill Akpabio, he made mention of a couple of people. I think there's some people that have been making mention of certain people too, you know. So I had a conversation on WhatsApp group, on a WhatsApp group led by one of my boss. Today they posted this post right here. Hopefully you can see. Yeah, you can see. So that person posted this post, and the person said, with an emoji like her eyes, like the Yaya Bello asked me out, Natasha Akpoti. Dino Melaye harassed me sexually, Natasha Akpoti. Rena Omokri made sexual advances at me, Natasha Akpoti. My problem started with Akpabio when I rejected the sexual advances, Natasha Akpoti. Who is next? This man, Rono. Hashtag get sense. So this person think they're advising a person, of course, in their own word. And they will also claim that it's my opinion. Well, this one is not a matter of opinion. You have the right to your opinion, but we also have the right to give an opinion about your opinions that they are terrible and they are crazy, and they are for sure backwards. But anyway, and it's for your own good. So what I'm about to do in this video is really for your own good, because people like you, they understand until you get a problem at work, and then you're like, oh yeah, in America, like, no, they were trying to tell you before, but you're not paying attention. So pay attention now. So this person posted this, and I was like, oh, interesting post. Let me see. So, and of course I responded. I said, each one needs to be taken seriously and investigated. That's me answering that person. So you can see I'm taking screenshot just covering that person's identity, because honestly, anybody who have this mindset should be ashamed of themselves, but they probably don't have shame. But I'm not also the one, I don't want to drag them, I just point out the lessons, and hopefully anybody listening to me can really get some wisdom without making it about themselves. If you just understand that this is how society works in 2025, we're not encouraging anything that's going to hurt anybody. If anything, we're trying to protect the most vulnerable of our society. If there are 4 senator ladies in the whole of 109 senators in Nigeria, it's obvious. That should tell you that they are probably the most vulnerable in that room, and they're probably doing everything in their power. Look at what Auntie Tagiwa is doing here. They're doing everything in their power to not come off as weak. But the reality is that a man and a woman are not the same. Obviously, look at why is there not more people in that Senate seat? So there's more to that story than just claiming that we're equal. If you look around you, look at the results, you know that we have a long way to go in terms of everyone in our society being represented properly, equally, with equity in places that matter. One of the places that would matter would be obviously in the National House of Assembly. So I answered, I said, each one needs to be taken seriously and investigated. And of course, they have a comeback. The person brought a comeback. The person said, all these sexual harassment allegations are just a result of women's poor sentiment towards normal social interactions. It's normal for men to approach women. By the way, that's not sexual harassment. It could be, but that's not what constitutes it. Could be, right? And so the person says it's normal for men to approach women and ask them out. It's equally normal for women to say no, and it's up to them to state their reason, whether they are married, not interested, or otherwise. Okay, even if it's not wrong in a workplace setting, no, even if I'm not wrong, in a workplace setting, it's acceptable to ask a woman out in a respectful and professional manner, but only once. Okay, he's putting a number on it. If she declines, it's best to respect her decision and not ask again. Most women believe that it's sexual harassment once you ask them out as a married man. Okay, so by the way, you don't have to be a married man before you can be a perpetrator of sexual harassment or to be an offender in that sense, in the sense of sexual. So adding the married man thing, it's like a person who is doing this disconnected from what we're trying to say. They're putting out things that are not relevant. For example, a man approaching a woman is not, it could be sexual harassment, but that's not, nobody's asking you not to approach a woman. If you are making it about that, it means you're not open to learning. You're throwing your hands in the air and you're getting tired of learning what you need to learn about this topic. Okay, if you're not in Yankee, there's a good chance you've never gone through a sexual harassment class, or even if they offer you, like I know in New York State, they will offer you the class, but you can skip and not really pay attention to what's going on, or you think it's just one of those things. It's the same way they will give you lessons around security breach of computers, phishing, all these different threats that can come to an organization. One of the major threats that can come to an organization from a civil standpoint is sexual harassment. If it's a non-conducive environment for people to work, especially women, especially disabled, the vulnerables of our society, then they will get rid of you. You'll just be crying at home, if I you because this life is woke. No, it's not woke. You did not pay attention what we're trying to tell you. You thought it was about your opinion, and this is not about your opinion. It's about protecting your bag, it's about protecting your livelihood, and it's about being a responsible leader in our society. Nobody's asking you not to toast a woman. Okay, what we are telling you is that you should pay attention to how your advances are being received. Either it's the 0th time or the 5th time. You should pay attention. Like, come on, pay attention to that, right? That's what we're trying to say here. Okay, so that person responded like that, but of course, they had to. I came back with. So if you ask a woman out again after she says no, it becomes harassment. I was trying to feel on them, just like, like, what does I'm trying to say, what does toasting a woman have to do with what it's not relevant. Okay, it could be if we hear more of the story, but it's not by itself relevant. People still toast women. Okay, people still toast even after they say no. You can still toast a woman. I will be careful. If it's a workplace, I'll be careful, right? I would have some discernment abilities. Of course, I'll be able to pick up social cues, right? So if she's telling you like, I'm not appreciating this, sometimes she's still smiling. But if you understand, you can tell that you should stop it, right? But it's not like some kind of pragmatic, clear-cut, dry, just don't toast a woman thing, because you don't have to say a word before you are sexually harassing a person. Okay, some of it is psychological, right? If you're in a position of power and the person feel like you've already tear up their clothes, you've made them naked just the way you look, it can constitute sexual harassment allegations, and it's an allegation. So you really don't have to overreact, but you have to respond to it. If you're in a position of authority, power, importance, you have to. Anyway, so I now said, so blah blah blah, and the person came back with the let's see, let me see if I can find that answer. I said Abi. The person came back with some other long epistles. Is that the one there? I'm not sure. Okay. Anyway, I said if it's truly social, that actually, if it's truly social, because that person is basically saying it's a woman's poor judgment, poor sentiment around normal social. It's normal except for women, because clearly women are disconnected based on the generalization. So I said if it's truly social, that actually means we have to pay attention beyond our own sentiments. Most women already deal with toasting. That has not been the issue. So he comes back, he says, how did they harass you? How did they harass her? Did they invite her to their houses and she visited? Did they touch her boobs in public or in private rooms or in an office? Like I said, it doesn't have to be verbal. It could be purely psychological, right? What did they say to make her uncomfortable? At least she must prove this in court. All right, that's one of your uncles talking. So I said if she has done all this, she will explain why she chose to meet them in their houses or hotel. Oh, I didn't even see that part. That is wild. Okay, so he's basically talking about the burden of proof, right? She will have to prove. Well, basically they didn't even let her prove. They shut it down immediately, right? So let's see here. So the person came back. I think the person said they didn't want to argue or anything like that. I said, yes, I agree. Let's do that. Let's not argue, basically. Let's also encourage harassment training in workplace. Common sense and sentiment will not cut it, is what I said to the person. So the person said, we all have our own points of view. See, they think it's about somebody. Somebody was trying to tell you that people have rights, but you're already getting defensive that somebody's trying to take your own rights away. Me, if you're having a discussion with me, I'm never taking your right to have an opinion away. You can have an opinion. It's just that that's not the point of the conversation. I'm just having my own opinion too. That's all. And you seem like you don't want me to have mine, and it's not going to really work. It's not going to work, right? Because you know what? Especially not on this platform, it's not going to work. I'm just having my own opinion too. Maybe really it's just a disagreement that you're not comfortable with. But you're gonna have to be comfortable with this one, Sha. So the person said, however, if it becomes, so he said, we all have our own points of view. I believe, no, this is not a point of view. This is the society you live in. You will lose your job. You will lose your position if you continue to behave in a way that aligns with this mindset. So the person said, however, it becomes a matter of sentiment if one only believes in what she has said No, actually, my sentiments don't matter in the grand scheme of things. We're just letting you know that you can lose your job, you can lose your livelihood, you can lose business by continuing to align with this thought process. Okay, that's just not an opinion. Look around you. There are people that have been jailed. Call Bill Cosby. Well, that's extreme, but I'm just saying, not necessarily jail, but your life can get slowed down for something you could have prevented by just paying attention to social cues. We call it social cues because it's not your opinion or your sentiment. It's just the society we now live in. You can call it is diverging, is devoluting, is devolving. What you can call it whatever, but you're still responsible for paying attention and learning how to navigate it properly. That's what we're saying. It's not your opinion. This is not my opinion. It's just where we are. And we're talking about with respect to a group of very important people in all of our lives, women. If women are saying that is sexual harassment, you don't really, even if they're wrong, you don't really have a choice. They are now right. Because why? Because they are valuable parts of your life and your society. Okay. And how do I know? Because if it involves your daughter, then you're going to feel a little bit different, because now suddenly you can connect to their plight. It's an emotional level. You don't have to wait for all that. You can just borrow your self-brain and listen in closely without your sentiment. Okay? All right. So, however, it becomes okay. So hearing from other people, okay, so it becomes sentiment if you don't hear from other side. You know how they always fight it. Let's hear from that side. Let's hear from the other side. We're not the judge. We're just saying there's a serious allegation. It must be addressed. You are saying it shouldn't be addressed. They should just look at our track record of our accusing people, which are all false. Even Governor Fayemi has come out and debunked that there's no such thing of an existing accusation from Natasha to himself. That's what Punch News somebody is reporting now. Even though a bunch of people that call themselves senators, leaders of the whole country, have literally flunked that around as like some kind of facts, even though it's not documented anywhere, and at least not from the mouth of Natasha. So he now goes, all opinion counts. That's what we're trying to say. So if women are saying, we feel harassed by you for decades, you must make that count and remove your own sentiments. So mind you, believe women at your own risk. Okay, now that is a loaded sentence. That believe women at your own risk thing is a loaded sentiment. Yes, sentiment. So I said, I respond. I said, it's not about believing women at all. This has nothing about believing women. Okay, that's why we need standard education and not individual opinions. I said you won't argue. I think he continued to say something after that. I just kind of ignored it. But why am I talking about this? I wanted to use this opportunity to really, for us to rub minds together. You know, can somebody be falsely accused? Yes. That has nothing to do with when you have just been accused or some allegations have come after you and your livelihood. It has nothing to do with some other false allegations somewhere. You still have to handle that individual allegations responsibly and appropriately. Okay, that's how you should do that. Hit the like button, I beg, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna play some other videos. So this is a video of Natasha presenting her petition today. Let's listen in.
Distinguished colleagues, I'm Senator Natasha Tudoha, and I stand to raise a petition under Order 40. The petition may only be presented to the Senate by a senator who shall affix his or her name at the beginning thereof. The petition is in my name against the President of the Nigerian Senate, His Excellency Senator Godswill Akpabio, for sexual harassment, abuse of office, and malicious obstruction of my legislative functions. You may recall, sir, that on Friday in Arise TV, I did make some statements, and I have decided to narrow these statements in a formal petition against the President of this Senate. So if it may please, I would humbly step forward and lay this petition.
You may proceed.
So somebody said, yeah, this is in court now. So they were corrected, of course, that no, this is not the one in court. This is the allegations of sexual harassment by the Senate President presented before the Senate President himself. He's actually presiding at this point in time. At this point, he's supposed to like, okay, receive this and say, I'm going to step down. Yeah, ideally, yeah, right, Nigeria. And until further notice, while we have, but of course, that's not going to happen. In fact, what ended up happening is that they called it dead on arrival by, I think they started a meeting at 2 p.m. Nigerian time. They probably concluded that without her.
This petition is hereby referred to the Committee on Code of Conduct, Ethics and Public Petitions to revert to the Senate as soon as practicable.
Petition.
Any other petition? Yes.
President,
all right,
colleagues,
so
Senator.
that was her presenting a petition, which again, since then, they've basically denied the petition since then. Now, we could have predicted that, and the fact that we could predict that is one of the saddest things about it, right? It's like we could almost predict that these people will make a fool out of themselves. We could almost predict that they're not with the times. They don't know what time it is. They think they can continue to get away with atrocities like this and not have to pay for it. What atrocity? I'm not talking about the sexual harassment. You see where your mind went? You don't understand how these things happen in layer. I'm talking about the atrocities of throwing out this kind of petition without properly assessing things and handling it and treating it accordingly, like that person is as important as any other citizen, right? They think they can keep getting away with that, right? So of course they're gonna find out someday. I don't know if this is the one that will make them find out, but someday they're gonna find out that it's not gonna be that simple anymore. Anyway, Akpabio ended up denying, as I said earlier, but let me play that video for you and let's listen in.
However, I would like to state clearly that at no time did I ever attempt any sexual harassment on the said distinguished Senator Akpoti or any other woman for that matter. I and my siblings were raised very well by my late single mother. She died in year 2000 through very difficult times, and I therefore have the highest regards for women. Even at demise, I still cry till today. I also wish to state that I also have 4 beautiful daughters. So at no time will I ever harass any woman, and I've never done so. In addition, even as a state governor, I was awarded various awards. One of them was the one you wish to know, the most gender-friendly governor in Nigeria.
The most gender-friendly.
I served between 2007
governor.
and 2015. To God be the glory.
It's not in retirement.
I urge all Nigerians, particularly the media, and then, of course, the members of the social media, to await the court's decision. And please do not jump to conclusions on matters of mere allegations.
Allegations.
I want to thank you for listening to me and thank my colleagues, because some of the phone calls were calls of support, solidarity, and prayers that the Almighty God will step in to vindicate the just. So now let us get on with the business of the day. Thank you.
All right, there you have it. So he denied. He's basically made his denial statement right there, as you can see. But there's more. There's more. So some of those, as you can, as I highlighted on the last show, some protest has been happening. We already said that this is poverty. This is the result of poverty. They probably give these women. They probably give them. Sorry about that. They probably gave a bunch of women. They give them money, to just carry placard and defend Akpabio. So somebody was courageous enough to take cameras closer to these protesters in favor of Akpabio to ask them why are they protesting, right? So, and the answers may interest you. Let's listen in.
Why he's a good man.
So you want him to win the position?
Yes.
He's already Senate president.
Okay.
But why are you supporting Senator Natasha?
No.
Why?
No, I don't want her.
You don't want her what?
He don't do me anything, but I don't want
Hey,
her. Because there are people say them be stubborn people.
hey,
So we don't need stubborn people. We want peace. We don't need stubborn people. That is why. Why he's a good man.
So you want him to win the position?
he's a good
He's
man.
already Senate president.
Okay.
She said she wanted him to. Okay, the caption says, "I'm protesting because I want Senator Akpabio to win the position." What position? He's already the president. But actually, it's a 5K dancing. So sad. I know one later here say they told us to protest and they didn't pay us. So that's what we're dealing with. I mean, these things are so obvious, but it doesn't mean they don't work. The question is, for how long are they going to work? We don't know. You know who else doesn't know? The Senate president, the senators, the politicians, the power that be. They don't know how long these things are going to work. Let's listen to another one real quick. Let's listen.
Why are you supporting Senator Akpabio?
Why I'm supporting you?
Yes.
Why I'm supporting you is that I didn't see any wrong in what they are saying.
I didn't see any wrong in what they are saying. And she's eating groundnut, whatever she's eating. I don't know.
I don't know much about the detail of what they're saying. I'm just supporting you because my mind left me to support you.
But you don't know much about what they're saying.
I'm just supporting him because my mind led me to supporting him. Sound like Donald Trump saying I'm superstitious. Oh.
Do you support Senator Natasha?
I don't even really know the whole story about you.
You don't know the whole story. So why did you come out here today?
Why I came out today is that they said they should go and support that we should remain as our senator.
Why are you supporting Senator Akpabio?
That he should remain as our senator. They have no idea that a woman is actually accusing him of sexual allegation. Yeah. So anyway, another news here says court stops Senate from probing Natasha. So they were going to probe her. Remember, she said she was actually featured on the Bracket family show, the human rights family show from Abuja. I think from Abuja. I'm not sure. But anyway, she was already anticipating they were going to probe her and then try to suspend her. But she was smart enough to get an interim order restraining the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges, and Public Relations from conducting a disciplinary proceeding against her. Now, you can see that they are also already retaliating. You know, so sad, so sad. Now, listen to this one. I want you to listen to this one. This is a person who seems a little bit younger. Seems like they might have at least a secondary school SS2, maybe. But let's listen to what she has to say.
I am supporting Akpabio because he's a Senate president. Number two, he's somebody's husband. He shouldn't be, he's not looking at Natasha. Natasha is just a senator. He doesn't have time with Natasha. Natasha should free Akpabio. Akpabio is somebody's father. He's a grandfather. He's somebody's husband. He's somebody's son. Natasha should face her husband and leave Akpabio alone. A man is free to look at a woman. That is the end. We should stop blackmailing Akpabio. Akpabio is Akpabio. He should stop with arrest.
You don't want them to investigate?
Investigate what? Did you miss Akpabio with Natasha in the bed? Did you mean Akpabio talking to Natasha by the roadside? Did you mean Akpabio talking to Natasha that I love you? I am supporting Akpabio because he's a Senate.
She said, did you meet? She said, investigate for what? Did you meet them together? Did you see them? That is something I can't judge her for. That's ignorance. That's lack of education. That's deep. It's a mindset. It's a mindset of a lot of people that claim to be traditional. Okay, they can't see past what you might consider to be tangible. They have complete disregard for anything that is psychological in nature or things that are part of a phenomenon in the psychological realm. They would rather pick spiritual over psychological. Why? Because spiritual is it's kind of makes it, because they can pray fervently, it kind of make them feel like they're still in level of control. Psychological, they can't relate too much with any form of control that they are not controlling another person outrightly, as opposed to from a place of influence, right? But let's look at this for a second. So somebody says, see person best mama in the world. Tue. Apple you spit. Anyway, someone said, why is she pouring spit on the cameraman? Jesus. Women supporting women in the yeah, so it's an illiterate poverty thing, and is what we're doing right now is how we start educating people on how to handle this kind of issues, you know. Let me see if there's any other video I wanted to play. I am supporting Akpabio. One of my homies here. I think this is anyway, let me just call out her Andu. So adorable of God. She says, so because of his someone's husband, father, Senate president, or whatever, he can misbehave. We're not good deal, all right. let me see what Victoria Yama said. Victoria Yama, I think she's ex-actress out of Nigeria. She said, why I stopped advocating against domestic violence and defending women. God is, thank you for my dual nationality. Oh, this is why she stopped advocating against DV for and defending women, because of women like this, essentially. Anyway, let me see. Yeah, she basically said a man is free to look at a woman. A few female protester says, as she tells Senator Natasha to focus on her own husband. Anyway, I wanted to read this thing that posted by Kate Henshaw as some form of support for Natasha. It's interesting that we see. I like to see this. As a matter of fact, I saw a headline earlier on where Sheon Kuti has actually called out celebrities and feminists, Nigerian feminists, for not supporting Natasha in this time. I guess my wife actually said they're not loud enough if they're saying anything. So, but it's Nigeria, so it's tough work. So she said, WCW, Women Crush Wednesday. We forget so readily how far we have come. We forget our lineage, our history, our strength. We are told we are weak, we're spineless and cannot think. We accept the new role foisted on us, the subtle submission imposed by religion, by society, by tradition. They tell us we cannot govern, we cannot rule, we cannot make our own decisions. They tell us to shut up and sit down. Women like children are to be seen, not heard. You can't even do that to children anymore. That's ridiculous. If you think that of children these days, you're a terrible parent. Say, do you not know that in nearly all species, the female is much more deadly than the male? We are the offspring of countless women warriors. They're gonna learn the hard way. That's okay. They all gonna learn. All of them are gonna learn the hard way. So don't even worry about it. Don't worry yourself. Okay? Don't worry yourself about it. If you don't get it, you get it. You get it. If you don't get it,
you get it. Okay. If you don't get it, forget about it. All right.
Yeah, so it's sad to see how this thing is playing out. It's not just about sexual harassment for me. It's about the backward, like how backward we still are as a society. That's the sad part about it. That's all I'm trying to say. All right. So I'm looking at that thing, that chart that I reviewed earlier on. I showed you what my responses were, and so I used some of my tools here, aka AI ChatGPT, to script through it, to scan through it, to see if we can get some lessons in a cleaner way, ChatGPT and Gemini. So here are some of the stuff that we have. The need for serious investigation, right? Regardless of how many times a person has, like, let's even say you are telling the truth, right? And you feel like, truth is all that matters. Okay, good. Or you feel like the other person has a track record of accusing people. You still, especially when it comes to the vulnerable for women and children, you should still treat every allegations as their own individual allegations. Kind of similar to what I tell you when it comes to marriage, relationships. Every event is unique. You start connecting everything together, you will just punish yourself, you punish your partner, and you're not going to get anywhere. But if you treat every case by case, right? We say case by case by individual, but it's not just that simple. It's actually case by case by the events. You don't say that's how you did that yesterday. Now you're generalizing. Yes, even the same person, right? And yes, there is a thing that people have track record to show you their behavior. Yes, you have the opportunity to discern. You can say, oh, this is what you do, and you can leave. But if you are going to stay there, you have to treat every case individually. That's the best way. That's the closest route for you to get to the solutions that you want. If you try to connect the dots, ladies, you do this a lot. That's how you did this yesterday, and you start bringing stuff up from the past, it's going to get muddy and muddier and muddy, because they will get defensive. They will say things like, but I apologized, but I tried to, but I already said sorry. And you said sorry, but you're doing it over and over again. They don't see it as over and over again. They see it as, today is a fresh day. I made a mistake. I'm sorry, right? Gentlemen, you don't get to look at her and manipulate her and say, oh, but you said no. You need to understand that you are creating the same emotions. That's why she's referencing it back. So it's two sides. There are two adults involved. It's two sides to it, right? There's one person that's basically bringing up issues. They should be aware and know that they're creating more problem. There's another person that's dealing with the person that brings up issue all the time, and now they are using that as a talking point instead of them to realize that you are provoking the same emotions. So of course they're going to keep referencing. They don't have to, but if you're dealing with an average human being, they will keep referencing your track record, essentially. So even if it's the same individual, especially when we're talking about at the society level, we're talking about the Senate leadership. You have to treat, you can't say, hey, you accuse this, you accuse that. That tells me that the leadership in Nigeria is just crazy levels of terrible, right? The fact that you bring up accusations that had nothing to do with this, as opposed to address this accusation, it tells me that you're actively trying to manipulate the situation, which probably is obvious to you by now. All right, let's keep going. So that's the first thing that comes to mind for me, which is the need for serious investigations, individual by individual. The first response, right, is the first. It has nothing to do with anything before that. Okay, every allegations of harassment should be taken seriously and properly investigated, rather than dismissed outright or assumed to be true without evidence. Either one, but take it seriously. We're not telling you to believe her. So it's not relevant when you say things like believe women at your own risk. It speaks more about your own prejudice and biases than anything, because that's not what anybody's asking you to do. What they are asking you to do is to take the allegations seriously. Don't go and gather market women and try to dismiss it. It worked in the past. I'm not going to front. Eventually, it's going to stop working. And usually, it will be too late for you to realize that you can actually change that and have even bigger power. It's called influence. Okay? It's called influence. It has a lot more better intrinsic value than trying to manipulate society. All right, second thing I wanted to share with you in terms of lesson with regards to this is this old thing called societal norm that doesn't involve women that are being harassed. I don't know what you mean, right? So there's this whole thing. Okay, only if it's workplace, so you can only toast person, like toast them only once. That's misguided, common sense, stupid stuff. Okay, this stuff is not common sense. I'm telling you right now, you need to sit your ass down and learn about what sexual harassment is. It has nothing to do with you toasting a person. It is not limited to only physical or verbal altercations, yes, or utterances, right? It's not limited to that, okay? So the person that was basically saying that workplace is what constitutes, it could be repeated. But more importantly, this part right here, if it's there's some cohesive behavior, right? Okay, let me open the door for you. I even have a colleague. I have a partner. This just happened to. I think I told you on the last one, right? All he said is, let me give you a ride. You want a ride? That's it. And it was it. And they took the work away from him. I'm telling you. That's why. That's not fair. No, it's not about being fair. It's about everybody being comfortable in the work environment. Cohesive behavior, like I think there's another word called cohesion, right? When it's not you that you remember you won't know that you are that is a cohesive behavior because you just see fine babe and you just like that's all you're doing, right? But that person is feeling uncomfortable. That is, you're now in the sexual harassment zone and you didn't even say anything yet. All you are doing is let me open the door for you. Like, can I grab that for you? Can I do that? Yes, that can constitute sexual harassment. This is crazy. This world is changing. Welcome to the real world. And I'm still confused why you're not getting it, that you're making another human being uncomfortable. Even when they're not necessarily capable of telling you directly, especially when there's power dynamics at play. Like, for example, there's something called workplace power dynamics. Of course, that plays a role, right? So if someone in a position of power makes this type of advances, don't you think that will create pressure that they might not be able to tell you? Why? Because they don't want to lose their work, they don't want to lose contracts, and they might take their time and they might just have had it one day. And they say, why did you tell us all this? Why? That would be a stupid question, sir. It's 2025. I have to start calling that a stupid question at some point. And I mean well, I just want you to get the point. I'd say that from a place of love. Okay? So the third thing that I want to talk about is this idea that it still has to be proven before. Of course it has to be proven. But you have to, when you're saying that, you want to make sure you're not victim blaming, victim shaming, because honestly, that means you're missing the point. You might be able to get away with this one, maybe this one doesn't involve you, but you're not going to see it coming next time you're offensive to other people. We live in a sensitive society. We've always lived in a sensitive society. You just have to learn this game you're living right now and learn how to navigate it without getting in trouble or tampering with the money that you're supposed to use to feed your family because you have coconut head, because you just want to argue with your destiny. It's not fair. It's not fair. All of us have to obey the same rules, so it is fair. And it has nothing to do with you toasting. What we're asking you to do when it comes to toasting women is have some game. Have some social cues. If you say you're interested in somebody, say no. That's simple. Keep it moving, bro. Don't keep doing, can I open the door for you? And you're not like surprised. No, you're not that surprised. You're just full of it. You knew what you were doing, but you refused to pay attention. Because now I'm saying it, you cannot claim you didn't know or you've never heard this before. So this suggested that the woman must prove that she was harassed by describing explicit physical actions. You're missing the point. It can be verbal, it can be psychological. Okay? Meaning there might be some intangibles she might not be able to describe exactly in that way and you still get in trouble. Why? Because again, if enough people cook, if you keep doing that same behavior, you're going to tamper with enough people. They're going to get rid of you. And you deserve it. Because you didn't pay attention. Okay? So, I think it says something about, did you agree? Did you agree to come to their house? And all this kind of stuff. All those kind of questions, that's called victim blaming. Okay? As in, like, you're effectively still perpetuating the harassment. So what should we do? Isolate that situation. That's why I tell people to step down. Take the allegations seriously. All right? But don't do it from a place of common sense, because especially if you're the one talking like that, you already feel like it's not fair. You're already playing the victim game. So what is that going to make you? You feel attacked, you're going to defend yourself and then attack the victim. It's a cycle that never ends. You're just going to hurt people more, okay? All right, so if you're skeptical, you don't really have to express that. You don't really have to express that. Why? Because it's not really relevant. Because nobody has judged anybody. We're just saying there's an allegation. Okay? Skepticism is natural. But of course, when you're expressing it, if you're not sensitive, you're going to get called out. Okay? There's a serious allegations of ground, but now you're saying like, I'm skeptical, trust women at your own kidney. That seriously undermines the reality of harassment, and of course it challenges victims in a way that you obviously don't understand. You don't really understand the challenges that victims face, and it's probably best to just shut up. Because you've seen enough to know that this is probably deeper than what you understand, right? But I even doubt it. I think you just rather women just touch them. It's normal now. What is it? Just say no, they're not comfortable, because a lot of that is psychological. If they're not comfortable, they're not comfortable. You have to be willing to just say, yeah, leave that alone. It could be a phone call. You keep calling that person. Now they can block you these days, but come on now. You have some self-respect. Right? So then, like I was saying, there's a way you have this public discussion. There's obviously gender biases involved in that. Don't get called a misogynist. And then you pretend like you don't know why they call you a misogynist. You know exactly why you were called a misogynist. You know exactly why. So I'm going to go back to saying there's a need for education, workplace education, things like that. We need to take it seriously. We need a society where they take it seriously to make them feel safe, make them more productive. Women, you need to understand that you too can sexually harass men. Yes, you're grabbing people in certain body parts. You're getting too close while you're talking to. There's some people when they're talking, they're like right here. It's uncomfortable. Me personally, I don't like when people are talking to me right here. Like right here. Like, why are you this close? And a lot of time, people are not aware that they're doing it. It's just who they are. It might be the way they were raised. That doesn't make it okay for you to continue to make me feel uncomfortable. So I can make a report and then we can scatter everything. Since you will not have some self-respect and have some self-awareness, right? You can just scatter everything. How's that? Right? See how the Senate seats, everything is now scattered. Now allegation is going to be looming over his head for the rest of his life. I don't care how powerful he thinks he is. So that's some of the things we're dealing with in this topic. I don't think a lot of people don't get it. So to be fair to them, but some people also say Akpabio must go. So there were some women there. Akpabio must go. So this video is the video of the man who is shutting down, say he's dead on arrival. Listen closely.
That the petition she presented today is actually dead on arrival.
It's dead on arrival.
And I say that because it runs contrary to Order 40, subsection 4, that no senator may present to the Senate a petition signed by him or herself. And that petition having been signed by her will not be entertained.
So it was never investigated. They just said dead on arrival. Isaac Fayo said, "Na zoo we dey." Mazi Ednot Tunde Ednot says, "Can you imagine? So person no fit cry out, say them do this. Wow. At least investigate before you say the case is dead on arrival." That's a McDonald's and him talking. These are some ladies trying to get some goodies. Goodies being distributed to them after protesting for Akpabio. They call themselves Unified Women for Good Governance. They were in support of Akpabio. Anyway, that's all you guys are dealing with. Do me a favor. What are your thoughts so far? What do you think? Are we ready for the change? This is one of the examples of how backwards we are as a society. Are we ready for the change? Let me know. If you don't think we're ready for the change, how many more years do you think we need? How many more people do you think need to exchange powers before they realize that they can't really cover up the atrocities anymore? At the very minimum, this allegation is going to follow him, at least in the public court of opinion. Or public court of opinion. That's how they say it, right? Or court of public opinion, rather. Thank you, D. I hear your voice. Court of public opinion. It's going to follow a loom around him, his legacy. It is what it is, you know. But that's not enough. It could be better if they just investigate and say, hey, this is the outcome. There was not enough evidence. It was investigated. But we're going to put this measure in place to make the work environment, make it more safer, make them feel more comfortable, make women feel more comfortable in this type of environments, you know. But most of what we're seeing is people trying to shame Natasha into submission. It might work now, it can only work for so long. I'm warning you, if you're a person of power, of influence, it can only last for so long. It's not gonna last much longer. Correct yourself. Don't wait until you get dragged and you get put to shame, your whole legacy, before you correct it. Okay. There was a guy that was on CNN, not CNN, Channels News, that was yelling at the top of his lungs earlier on. I don't know, maybe I'll play that next time. Maybe we'll still come back to the story. But do me a favor, hit like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified. Turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. Hopefully you'll be enlightened, educated. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Peace.
Girl, it's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Me love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.